All right. So now that I have all of my tweets and stuff out and notifications and everything, hello, folks. I am back again. Hey, what's up, Will Kai? How you doing, bro? So we are in channel, and what I want to do today is kind of get down into uh, Michigan Statesman. Um, we left off the other day working on his profile. We'll switch to that. Um, Up top here, we got Firefly. Um, and we did some reworking and some moving around of things on his profile. Um, there's still some BS that's going on with these. The formatting is a little off, but we'll fix it someday. But right now, it works for what I need it to do. Want to jump on? I mean, yeah, you can do that if you have the if you have the Discord, sure. I can hop into my Discord. I'm in the Discord, but I'm in my special channel. So if you hop in, uh, I'll have to pull you down to it. So let's see. I got some more posting to do apparently. Doing that. Doing that. Put this in this. Do that. Who else? I'll send it to that person. That's gonna be a little controversial. But I'm in the mood for a little controversy today, I guess. Send it to that person. Put it in this group too. Alright. Let me get that. If you wanna hop on Discord, you sure can. I'm just sitting here. You should have the server. I see you on the server. Need to be on. The mad scientist. What's up? Hey, how you doing, man? How you doing? This and that and that and this. I was sending out a bunch of more alerts, seeing as apparently people seem to miss my alerts. So I'm putting them out a little bit more. Oh, what's up, Ty? How you doing, man? So we got this going. Hopefully we get some more people soon. So we're gonna work on Michigan Statesman today. I gotta pull up his other profile here on the other screen so I can get that going. Because we're gonna copy over, uh, transpose some of the stuff I've already had. And we're gonna start. Unfortunately, you know, like I keep saying with people, one of the things I don't like doing, and I hate it myself, but it's a necessary thing. Uh, the formatting of this is going to be different, but it used to be I tried to keep it to 1 or 2 pages. But I'm literally going maybe up to 4 pages or more to fit in everything about the character. I need to adjust that more. Yeah, there we go. Because I want to make sure there's a lot of stuff out there and you get as much information of the character as you can. I have no clue why the sound went out, but I'm back. Oh well, welcome back. So, um, we hate to do it like this, but we gonna have to. So we're gonna go into his attire. Different word for costume, and it is a white. What bodysuit and cowl. It's not even a cowl. See, this is the hard part about doing my profiles, is when it comes to the costume, it's hard to explain it to people. Like, if you don't see it, you won't know what to look for. Do you know what I mean? Because I have a creative thing for statesmen. And a matter of fact, I'll bring it up on the screen here. Because I'm actually very proud of it. It's where I made him in the game that I play. Um, and he looks so much better in the game, except for he's missing a couple of his key items because you're limited by the engine, you could say. And years ago, I made a video breakdown of the character. All right. Um, and what I want to do is I want to show people this, right? Let me bring it up real quick. I gotta open up a window. Nope, wrong one. Okay. We gotta add up. No capture. Let's see. Now, where the heck is this thing? No, that ain't it. Huh. That's not it. Why is that bringing that up? Like, what is that? I made it to diamond level. Well, congratulations, man. I'm glad for you. Now, where the heck? Why is it showing that? I don't want it to show that. Why is it showing that? Oh, okay. I know why it's doing that. We don't want that. So we got to delete that. So back to this. That's a good thing, dude. I'm proud of you for that. Media source. Is that a media source? Maybe that'll work. Bear with me. I'm trying to bring up this video for y'all so y'all can see um Statesman in his full form, what he's supposed to look like. The
Alright, what you're seeing here
okay,
is you're
so
seeing
there
states
it is
in game.
on screen.
I have
Right
him
now.
in a mode where I can view. What you can see here is you can see the neck collar on the back that's supposed to
That's
go around him.
and you can hear my
Right
voice
there
in the
on the
background
back.
about it. I'm gonna mute
I
that.
try to slowly go.
That's what Statesman is supposed to look like, right? Except for he's missing a couple things on like I said, due to the game engine, he's missing a few things. I'm doing good, man. Thank you for joining. And he's not based on Michigan State, like the school. He's based on the political standpoint of a statesman. Um, he's the state enforcer. He in my comic book universe, he is my Superman, my Captain America, my Hulk. He is our, I guess, and if you're talking about My Hero Academia, he's like my symbol of peace character. Right? He's that guy. He's my brute, he's my bruiser, he's my big boy. And I'm showing this because we're working on his profile. And I made this video for when I do artists, when I have artists do him, so they can get the depth. Oh my god. So that they can get the depth of the character, and whatnot. And so I made that video with that in mind. And it goes into like the breakdown of the character, all his different costumes I have for him in the game. Yeah, there you go. Not Boy Scout. You spelled that wrong. That almost looks like boycott. he's our Boy Scout character. I guess you could say that. Yes. There you go. You can say that. He's our Boy Scout character, right? So he's our powerhouse for right now. There are many other characters that can be similar to him, but when it comes down to him, he is that dude for Rapid Fire Entertainment right now. He is that guy, and I love it. And that's going into, like, this is a tutorial on when I send it to artists on what everything looks like so they get it right. I can, in that, I can also bring in an image of what I have of him that we had done. Unfortunately, it just doesn't fit right. We got a couple of pictures actually. Here is one with our top 3 characters. You got Firefly in his iconic costume. Then we have Chemical, which is my bro's character, who is, I guess you can say, on arrest right now with the company. And then you've got Big Boy in the back, Michigan Statesman himself, right? And just so y'all can get a point of reference here, I know it's not done properly in the comics, but if you look at the height difference here, Michigan Statesman in his augmented form is a whopping 7'5". Like, he is massive, and he's huge on top of that. From what I want his image to be like, right? And Firefly and Chemical are the same height, because me and my friend Aaron are the same height. And we stand about 5'9". This dude is 2 foot over us. like amazing, right? But in the comic art, it's not scaled properly, and that's okay. We're not going for that. Um, Another picture that we have, we'll hide that one. Um, is Michigan Statesman with the SRA, and this is one of our best posters that we have. And that is him with the crew that he effectively is the face and front for, I guess you could say. Um, the Supernatural Retention Agency is a force that is used by the governor of the state of Michigan in the current state of Michigan statesmen. This would be our former governor, Rick Snyder, that we call Dick Strider. It's pretty funny. Um, but we will update that um, to Governor Whitmer or Governor Whitemore, as I put it in the book. Um, after Michigan Statesman himself effectively starts the process to recall Strider, um, or push the narrative more to vote him out after the incidents that he fights in the state. One of the things that I do right and will write on Michigan Statesman, and one of his many issues is he will address the Flint water crisis, and he will address the other issues going on in the state, like the events going on in the living in the SOS. He also has many teams. He has a couple of team ups with Firefly, where we introduce one of his main Statesman's main villains, Rampage, which is going to be cool. Well, we're not getting into that, um, but we do have that. But we're talking about solely about the state level right now when it comes to Michigan Statesman. Um, but Snyder came up with the SRA program. The SRA program is going to be his response to something that bugs me as a writer and as a comic book fan. And a lot of us can attest to this. One of the things that um, we see in comics, right? When it comes to the military, the the National Guard and the police, when there's a supervillain present, they're just like fodder, right? They're just kind of there to give presence of law and order while the heroes do everything. And the governor got annoyed with that, and he came up with an idea. Although I'm not trying to give any spoilers, he has an ulterior motive with it. And out of that motive comes the Michigan Statesman. Um, and so in the other thing, he creates the SRA, which is designed to train, educate, equip, and empower local military and local law enforcement to be able to handle their own against superpowered threats. So when I write stuff, there will be side stories and stuff where the police force can literally handle some of these villains. I'm going to put them on like certain levels. Um of course there are going to be super villains, and I'm doing that in quotes, that they'll leave up to the heroes to handle. But like some of the smaller dudes, like, oh, let's say for instance, like in Spider-Man, they have like the Leaper, or some of those smaller, lower level criminals that Spider-Man usually handles. Firefly or statesman can handle those heroes, real easy. But why not write it so that the police force can handle it as well? You know, I want to create in rapid fire not this sense of hopelessness for your normal citizens, but the fact that, hey, you don't fully need the heroes to handle everything. And I think that's a great approach that I want to have to it. I think it'll work, um just because we really haven't seen that done. But if you do it, they always say that they're corrupt. In this case, they're in their first initial state, they had a agenda because that was led by the head of the creation of it. But after a while, statesman himself effectively becomes the leader to a degree and is the poster boy of it. And they will always be willing to back him up. Even though they're their own entity and agency, they will always be willing to back him up. And that's one of the things I want to write. So we're gonna turn that off. So we're gonna get into, again, like I said, we're gonna get into his costume. White cowl with black stripes. And orange trim. Armored chin, shoulder, arm, and wrist guards. Nope, I need to do this. Arms. You need to do forearms, I think. Yeah. Forearms? Nope. We don't need that. Arm and wrist guards. See, that's what I did. And an armored helmet. With visor. Boots and belt. Now, one of my biggest things, like I said, I really don't know if putting the costume into the thing is going to be worth a damn, but we're going to shoot for it and try to do the best that I can with it. You know what I mean? Belt with white trim. Long scarf. They don't really show the scarf, but it's in his profile picture there, which I also need to commission a new picture of him, like a solid standalone picture of him. I may have to hit up my other artist for him again. And deal with it in that light. Sorry, I'm stretching. Woo. We're gonna do an orange. Actually, no, it's not orange, it's red. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. We did orange and red. We did black and white. We're no longer doing the orange anymore. See, that's why it's hard for me to do the damn costumes, because I've changed so much about it. Red M on his belt. He also has an emblem, which we need to update a little bit, and I'll show you guys that. I will say this is in a very, very rough stage, but we will show the creative process for it. that's gonna be his emblem, and I got to get my graphic designer on working on it more. But that's the basis of it. Kind of showing the shield type deal. It's kind of a shield slash badge type of deal because I wanted that look. Um, because he's the head of that like police deal, so give him that kind of a police feel with the badge. Um, but also keep that kind of collegiate look that I like. Um, and trying to uh include the image of like his helmet in that, and that's what the M is representing. With the S representing the crest in the middle of his helm a little bit. You don't see it too much, but it's there. So that's how we designed it, but it still needs some work. But this is its first main draft. I can share another one of it. Um, this is what it looks like. And so that's what we wanted to go with. But like I said, it's a very rough idea and a rough sketch for that. So we'll bring that back up. Continue where we are. We got the red M emblem on his on chest. We're not gonna put it on his back. We used to have it on his back, but we do have it on his belt. And then we leave that there. Now, this is where we start having the issue. We have his bio. Let me get this ready to copy over, but we want to make sure that we do use the right formatting. It is origin. We do that. And we'd make sure to do the shift enter type deal. And then we do this. And I'm going to copy this over from his remaining old profile. We keep that and we post that like that. Right? So let's read what I have here and saw how crappy of an origin story that it is. I've since changed it a bit from this, but it's still on the same path. And I want to see where past me meets the future me here, and what I have developed over the years with Michigan Station. So, born and raised in a loving family, Robert, preferably called Bob, grew up to be an amazing athlete, particularly in football. So it is natural that near the completion of his high school days, he receives literally hundreds of offers and scholarships from various colleges, universities, and other educational facilities for his skills on the football field. A great feat he must undertake is deciding which one he wants to go to. He wants to go to. See, I gotta read that damn sentence again because it don't make sense to me, right? Which means it don't make sense to other people. So, a great feat he must undertake is deciding which one he wants to go to. And so, we fix that, put that, do that. One, he will do this. He wants one that fits his athletic taste as well as his academic goals. See, that's a fix. At least for me. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, I love writing. I am not the best at formatting or sentence structure. It has always been my weakness. I'm not gonna sit here and tell that lie. Not gonna sit there and tell that lie. I would just prefer to get it up and out and put what there and then have an editor go through and edit it because I am terrible at it. It was always a weak point for me, but I always had the ability to throw it out there, you know what I mean? So, he wants one that fits his athletic taste as well as his academic goals. Unfortunately, a slight crisis occurs when his mother suffers a major heart attack. This makes his decision a lot easier as he feels he needs to stay closer to home and his family in case further troubles occur. Narrowing his choices down to schools within Michigan and even further by schools within a couple hours from home, he ends up finally deciding on Great Lakes State University as his school of choice. Now, I made Great Lakes State University based on the idea, hey guys, welcome to the stream. How you doing? I'm glad you guys are here. Um, I made Great Lakes State University based on Michigan State University, which I am personally a fan of, but also the person I modeled Michigan Statesman after, my friend Bobby Tiernan, is a graduate of Grand Valley State University. So I took the idea of the school that I love and the school that he loves and graduated from and made an amalgamation of that and combined that and ended up making Great Lakes State University. He ends up finally deciding Great Lakes State University as his school of choice, seeing that GLSU offers not only a great Big Ten football opportunity, but it also satisfies his academic needs and prospects. As the school year starts, things are going well as he settles into college life and being slightly away from home. His new athletic career starts off with a bang when he leads his team to an early undefeated winning streak, setting a new school record and setting himself up to be one of GLU's best players in the history of the school. However, tragedy soon strikes after driving home from a victory party with his teammates. Bob's vehicle is struck by a drunk driver, ejecting him from the car as it rolled 300 feet down a ravine, then exploding. I know. I actually now this I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys this is not a lie. I literally modeled his accident after a scene in Family Guy. I I absolutely find myself cracking up every time I see that scene, or any scene in Family Guy for that matter, is where they have the car going off the cliff and it rolls down the cliff and then it just explodes. But this one in particular, I think is the scene where Peter is racing the Amish guy and they go off the cliff and the car goes and then the horse and buggy goes and the car blows up and then they span over to the horse and the horse just explodes. And I thought that scene was so funny that when I said I want this accident to be tragic but also have a hidden joke to it, there you go. That's the joke to it. I modeled it after a Family Guy scene and thought it was just the most hilarious thing ever. Um, and so when I look at this, I laugh every time because I know for a fact that's how I modeled that. Okay, so back to business. And then down a ravine and exploding. As a result, Bob suffers breaking practically every bone in his body. And on top of that, getting caught in the explosion, leaving him with multiple fragments of shrapnel in his body. That, my friends, is my Iron Man reference. There's a reason why. Love Iron Man. Michigan Statesman is an amalgamation of a lot of characters. Um, Captain America, the Hulk, Superman, and Statesman from City of Heroes, but also Iron Man to a degree. After being rushed to the hospital, Robert is placed under extreme. See that? Why does that say extremely? It should be extreme critical condition. See, I can't even type half my shit. Extreme critical condition. His family notified, they rushed to his side. After medical teams examined Bob's condition, it is discovered that a piece of shrapnel has lodged itself in the back of his head and is slowly making its way to his cerebral cortex. Now, excuse my Rona. We all know that some of this stuff just doesn't happen, but for comic sakes, this is what we do. Because it'll make a great story and it sounds good. May not be super factual or super scientific, but it works, right? So the big thing about this is that this piece of shrapnel that's heading to his brain is the reason why we get into what we get into. Given the state his body is in, it is currently the current state his body is in. Let's see, it should be like that. He is currently inoperable, and by the time he would be, it would be too late to stop the shrapnel from reaching his destination and killing him. Now, this is when this is where I left off. So now we get into the creative process. I know what his whole story is. Getting it out and putting it in the profile format is the rough part, right? So we got that up on screen. So we're gonna do this with his family. Nope, we don't want to do that just yet. Pretty much. His college, career, and future are drifting away. He and his family. Did you ever join chat, bro? You never joined chat. You never got in Discord. That's what I was waiting on you to do. You never got in. Let me check something real quick, guys. Stand by a moment, alright? So we'll do that. You never got in Discord, bro. I've been waiting for you to get in Discord. You said you wanted to discuss stuff. I've been waiting for you to get in Discord.
Only place I want to chill right now. Alright, let's see what I need to get.
Anyways, that. He said, hold on. Let me see your picture. What's the password to your Twitter? So we do that. Not drifting away. I want to say slipping away. Because the way I want to write this, I want to hint at his weakness. State of despair. So how do I join you? You join the channel. You join any of the channels that you see, and I will drag you down to my other channel. It's my streaming channel. I have two streaming channels. One with my buddies that um only certain people can get in, and then there's one where I pull everybody in. My little hidey hole. Enter a state of despair. Turn out. At this time, so you gotta join Discord. You gotta like join into a channel on Discord, and then I'll pull you in. Gubne. Gubne. Nope, don't see it yet. Looking for a way to handle the I want to say supernatural issue because there are other things going across the state here. We we handle things in our comic universe differently. Um One of those things being how we handle hot topics. And one of the things that are going on in our world right now is uh the situation in the SOS or shoreline or in real life what's called Muskegon area. We're dealing with an incident that almost leveled the entire city and a I want to say an almost 10-15 mile radius around the city, and it created this weird shoreline with an island that is quarantined where currently where Chemical is operating and where his story is unfolding. Um, but at this time during Statesman's origins, that has happened and it's been going on for I want to say only um, a few weeks at this point. Um, and so there's a lot of unrest about supernaturals running around doing things, but then you've got people um like the sentries who we haven't really gotten into fully yet, but they are already operational on the other side of the state. You've got um you've got Firefly at this time during the origin of Michigan Statesman here. Firefly is not even, where is he? He doesn't have his powers yet. He hasn't had the situation that leads to him unlocking his powers yet. So Michigan Statesman is going to be in effect active before Firefly, because Firefly looks up to him, but things haven't gone down in the SOS with Chemical being a threat yet, to where later on Michigan Statesman will be dispatched. The situations hasn't arisen in Flint. That's like, that's already happened in the works, but it hasn't come to light yet. So the thing about Michigan Statesman is that there's a lot of chaos and the governor does not know what to do. So this is when he formulates the idea of the SRA, and then out of that comes the idea of Michigan Statesman, right? But he hasn't fully done this yet, and this is what we're going to get into right here. So, but hold on a second. It still seems like I'm having issues with people getting to my page, and I don't know how. They're saying that um that just doesn't work, and I don't know what to do with that, because I know Will Kai had that issue yesterday, which is weird because other people were in here, and so I'm just confused, which is weird. I don't understand what's going on. So hold on, stand by real quick, y'all. So, unfortunately, I don't know what's going on, and apparently I have people who can't get to the page, to the channel, which I don't understand. Um, I'm guessing some people, it don't work right on mobile, or some BS like that. But we will continue. Alright, currently the governor of Michigan, Rick Strider, is looking for a way to handle the supernatural problem. And other forms of force. Military. I can't type today. National Guard. Where police and other forms of law enforcement, including the local military or rather National Guard, are powerless against super threats, and starts threats and without relying on heroes. Now, one of the things we have in our universe, that I think is cool, we have a registration system in our universe when it comes to heroes. Um, but we don't do it like other systems where it's like super controversial or causes all this problem. Um, if you are generally born with a power or you acquire a power, you can effectively get yourself registered. We're not saying it's licensed, but you can get yourself registered um, in a system so that in case something does happen, not only like legally, but like to you, people know you have these abilities. So it affects you and the general public in both a positive and somewhat negative way. In the positive way, it helps the person with the powers be able to get medical attention and stuff like that when it comes to um, certain doctors and hospitals. There are going to be certain doctors and hospitals that specifically um, work with heroes that tend to villains, that study and help um, understand, or even in some cases, either grow or um, boost their powers. And that's when it gets complicated. But we even, like I said, I have one of these characters. He's a constant uh, character that shows up, and he actually shows up in Michigan Statesman's origin. He shows up in my origin. He shows up in many origins, and that's Dr. Corey Moore. I don't know why I came up with that name, but I did. And he has his hand in a lot of coming of age heroes. And later on down the line, I have a storyline for him that I think will be amazing for a lot of people to follow. Um, so, But what we call that system, we call that recognized. What? Oh, I thought that was like, never mind. Even recognized ones. So, the problem, where police and other forms of law enforcement, including the local military or rather National Guard, are powerless against superpowered threats and menaces without relying on heroes, recognized ones. He he starts a campaign and even has the blessing of this is where our president comes in, the states and federal powers to move forward. He creates the SRA, the the super the supernatural detention agency. Now, the cool thing about that is how we came up with that name. It has basis in real life, which is really kind of, I guess you can say, kind of depressive because it's kind of based on like things like the border patrol and national security and shit like that, especially at a time what's going on right now. But I also think that'll make a nice solid reference when I do start pushing his story. It'll be something people will be able to relate to, and then we can give a different perspective on, I guess, without having to go into being like SJW focused on it, because it's one thing I don't want to ever really do with rapid fire is be super woke. And for those of you who are my friends and colleagues in the comic industry, we know what super woke does to comics, and it just makes my eyes roll so hard that they want to pop out of my damn head. That's one thing a rapid fire will never do is go like that, but we do support certain things. I won't get into that, but we will. You will never see that, at least from me. You will never see that super woke stuff. Any of my characters that do anything, it is a natural progression of the character or is a natural part of the character's storyline or how it just runs, but it's never put in there for, I guess you could say the best term would be pandering. Something we won't do. Just won't do it. So, we'll get back to that. He creates the SRA. But with the morale of the people, he needs rally persona. A rallying persona. When he gets word of Bobby's as a promising athlete who could lose it all. Due to circumstances beyond, nope, not beyond, circumstances out of control. Now, this gets into the big origin as we're writing it live right now. I haven't actually fully written down Statesman's origin in a long time. Hey. I think, and excuse my tiredness, maybe I shouldn't add so much sugar. May have more of this. We made somewhere. Oh, I do. I totally do. So, save time. Cool. My past self kicks me in the ass again. So we will use that we have here. Let's see. Let me read this, make sure. Yeah. Do we like this part right here? Ah, kind of confused. I want to fit that in somewhere, but I don't know if that'll work right. You know what? I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to insert what I already have. But I'm going to take this part that we added here, and I'm going to add that. I'm going to take out this part here. And I'm going to save it. Because I like this. But what I already have works and fits a lot better, but I want to find a spot where this can fit. Like, that is really good. That, at least for me, how I feel about it. I think that would work really well. I just want to save this bit here. Save that. Delete that. And then we're going to insert what we have. because I already have. I thought I lost it, but it was hidden somewhere else. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna transcribe that over because it's really thought out. So let's see. So we'll go down there. It's big too. I can't believe it. Ah, wow. There we go. We're gonna fix that. And boom. There we go. Because this is so we're gonna have to go through this. I like this one, but it's gotta lead into that whole thing. So let's read what we have here, and I guarantee you we can find out where we can put this, right? Fix these little BS issues. Because apparently my older self is still, again, a terrible writer. I think this is the rewrite. And I'm not sure. Oh, come on, really? In this Vanity Center, I wonder how things are going to turn out. Hope, however, is not lost when someone mentions that an untested experimental procedure that just may save his life. Looking into and discussing the conditions and the risk, his parents agreed to allow Bob to be subjected to a series of injections and a new form of therapy. I think that's where I can inject this, but we'll see. Series a new form of gene therapy designed to aid the body in bone, muscular, and cellular reconstruction. He is also treated with a serum specifically designed to dissolve foreign particles in the body. In Bob's case, meeting the shard of shrapnel making its way to his cerebral cortex. After only a few short weeks, Bob starts making uncanny results. In progress, making a full recovery in a matter of only 6 weeks, rendering his experimental treatment a total success. After a 2-week observation period to assess any complications or abnormalities in his body from the treatments, Bob is released from the hospital with a clean bill of health and returns home. But he's eager to get back to college. Knowing that their son is just eager to get his life back in order, they understand this need and honors his choice. Grateful and excited to have their friend and teammate back, Bob is greeted with a great celebration upon his return. Most notably, his best friend from childhood, Ronnie, who, during Bob's ordeal, could not visit his friend due to his own studies and classes, but did have time to put together his friend's return party. Ronnie is a technological genius. Later on, I find out he has his own type of power, I guess you could say. Um, but we'll get into that later. But this is about Statesman, a technological genius with a knack for sports and finding ways to improve sports technology and performance using technology and the body's natural potential, and not sports enhancing supplements or muscle enhancement drugs. Catching up on things he missed while he was in recovery from his accident, Ronnie fills him in on what happened during the football season, where the team came out 10-2 and lost in the early playoffs, but they had an overall excellent season. This all comes to an end when the campus police show up to end the festivities. Arguing that the night is still young, Bob steps up to contest the intrusion. However, before any further action can be taken, Ronnie steps in and excuses Bob's ignorance of the situation and quickly calms him down. After the party is cleared and everyone disperses to their destination, Ronnie can explain what just occurred and why. He informs Bob that the college has placed a strict curfew for on-campus students due to a string of student disappearances. He continues to explain that a couple of weeks after his incidents, students started disappearing on campus. Of course, to try not to cause panic, the school board has kept it under close wraps and releasing as little information as possible and enforcing the curfew to try and curb and reduce further disappearances. Did I repeat that? Glad to be back. Bob is even more eager to once again. Okay, see, I gotta go through and. Myself is a terrible writer. Disappearances. So, what can we do? This is a. Hmm. I want to incorporate this. This is a really good origin I wrote for him, and I remember this one now. Um, this is where I went the route of him being a little bit of a solo hero first, um, before the governor gets involved. I actually, I actually may take this another way. I could have Statesman do this stuff beforehand, and then he catches the eye of the governor. What do you guys think about that? I never thought about doing it that way. Because the way I've built it, it was supposed to be basically that the governor creates Michigan Statesman, right? And he's supposed to be part of the whole secret part of the program. But in my head, and part of me always struggled with that because it did not mesh well, because I would always struggle with trying to get it to mesh right. But looking at this and revisiting this, I may have a way to do it. And through this incident, have the governor notice and then recruit him for the program. That may be something I can do. I think that's what I might run with. See, this is yet another change. But let's read it as it is because it's trash, but I know. Glad to be back, Bob is even more eager to once again get himself prepared for sports activities. He starts to hit his workout routine again and get back to his high performance state after his rehab. During his training, he slowly notices that he can lift and press far more than he should in his current state. Thinking he is just overreacting, it's supposed to be to his. See? One word changes everything. And capitalization sucks because my keyboard likes to do that. Overreacting to his own thoughts, he continues to try life. Thank you, autocorrection. Try and lift more than he knows he can, and continues to meet each challenge without hardly any trouble. Certain he is seriously just overreacting, he decides to take a run that lasts 20 miles without him getting tired. Knowing something is not right, he freaks out and calls Ronnie. Ronnie, being a sports technology student, has access to equipment able to measure and report changes within Do we want to do with or within? We'll do with someone's body. After running a series of tests, they discovered that Bob's whole molecular structure has been altered. His bones are malleable but dense, making them 50 times stronger than a normal human. I actually want to put that 100 times. No, no, we want to, given his extreme state, we want to say 1,000 times. I know, it's a superhero thing, but at me. Times stronger than that of than a normal human. His muscle structure has become super dense. Discovered when Ronnie tried injecting Bob multiple times, only to have the needles bend or break. They also discovered that his strength grows exponentially when faced with the impossible. When Ronnie asked him to lift a 1,000 pound weight, which with a minimal struggle he lifts, but when asked to lift 1,500, he struggles. He struggles, but lifts it. Determined to see if he can go more, Bob requests another 500 pounds, making the weight a solid ton. He in turn lifts this as well, Ronnie noting the whole time that Bob's brain functions and muscle. Okay, see, we get rid of that. See, progress, progress and creativity, people. This is what happens when I sit here and do my profiles. I do stuff like this all the time, and I'm glad to actually be sharing this process. I don't think many writers, if any writers, actually do this. I've never really seen it. And I think more writers out there need to do stuff like this because writers are creators too. And I think that goes unseen a lot and unsung a ton. So we'll go back. When asked to live, blah 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 blah. The whole time that Bob's brain functions and muscle control and bone mass and structure shift to meet the demand. Bob, determined to lift more, ends up reaching a calculated ability reaching a calculated ability to lift 3,000 pounds of weight, which is the limit of the machine. I want to reiterate, of the machine, not him. They both figure something occurred during his treatment that has forever changed Bob. Deleting all traces of the test, they decide to keep what they have discovered between themselves. However, the day comes when his true potential and power are tested when an explosion occurs on campus in one of the school's underground labs. Appearing from the devastation is a giant, grotesque creature that starts to attack the campus and students. Panic and chaos ensues, and the police and the military are soon called in to handle the crisis. That part right there, that can be the SRA coming in. But like the SRA in like its most primitive state before getting a hold of statesmen. I think I'm onto something right now, and I'm super excited about this. I'm probably going to end up keeping this and then figuring out the whole thing in reworking Statesman's profile, which is something I've been wanting to do for years to make him more approachable as a freaking character. Yes, 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 and yes. With the combined might of the military and police forces, they prove to be no match as the creatures just rage and ravage and wreck any and everything thrown at them. So this can also help with the governor's campaign. And they're going to use, and he can use part of this incident since it's in the capital city, quotes, as a way to push and get the backing that I wrote. And so I'm going to have to figure out how to incorporate that into this story and then have him, before the end of this, reach that point. And I love that idea. But let's continue. Um, Everything thrown at them. Compelled to help, Bob calls Ronnie and tells him he thinks he can use his newfound abilities to try and stop these things. Thinking his friend is insane, Ronnie tries to break him out of the idea, but being his friend all his life, he knows that once Bob's mind is set, it's set. Asking him to meet him at the training lab, Ronnie gives Bob a jogging suit that Ronnie designed for football weight and run training to hide his identity. This is partly where Statesman's suit comes into play. At least his origin suit. I should probably make an origin suit for him. That would be dope. I should probably do that. Bob, in his disguise, jumps into the fray and starts to duke it out one on one with each of these creatures. It is rough at first, but the more the battle continues, the more he matches the creatures blow for blow until finally he manages to subdue one. Before finishing the creature off, it suddenly reverts to normal to reveal one of the missing students. After accomplishing the task of defeating each creature, four in total, and reverting them back to normal, questions are raised as to how they got this way. They each remember nothing before they were kidnapped, maybe a side effect of what caused them to transform. Managing to acquire a sample of their blood, Bob takes them to Ronnie, who, after a thorough pinpoint analysis, discovered traces of an unknown substance that would otherwise be undetectable. It appears to be a form of gene therapy, one that seems to enhance or change one's body's chemistry to produce high amounts of endorphins and adrenaline under stress and performance situation. Rodney recognizes this as the research Professor Kyle Rains, a gene biologist. Kyle Rains, a gene biologist at the school. Taking the information to the authorities, it's not long till they are able to locate Professor Rains' research and link him to the incident, but are still unable to locate the professor himself. The news breaks out. The news breaks hard, linking Rains to the abductions of the missing students and the creatures that attack the campus. Disappointed by his slip-up and miscalculations and ultimately his exposure, Rains, in a secret meeting with members of the school board, is told his funding is cut and he is no longer considered a member of the board. Oh, I remember what I was going through with this. Okay. I remember what I was doing with this. Oh, it's all rushing back to me now. I love this process. This is great. Remembering shit that I've forgotten. So I had made it in one of the revamps trying to do this. I had made it that there was this board um at the campus that was, I guess you could say, the powers behind the powers type of deal that was doing this, that was working effectively. What I'm going to tie into was working with the governor, which is, like I said, the governor has the underlying um, hidden agenda of the SRA, and this is part of it. He's trying to find a suitable champion through the students, but Bob was never in that situation, so they never got a hold of him because he was out. Had they, and I'm going to say this, I think had he not had the accident, had the weird hand of the cosmic fate not put Bobby in this predicament and had him go another route to get his abilities or his alteration, he would have probably ended up in this situation, which is worse off than the other one, but gets the results that they are looking for. So let's work with that. That's what I'll work with. That is exactly what I'll work with. Um, Distraught that his life's work and research has come crashing down around him and that the only people who could help him turn their backs on him, Rain vows revenge, not only on the school board council, but more specifically on Ronnie for causing his exposure due to his meddling, figuring he will make everyone involved in his loss pay. Raines plans one more experimentation, one that will solve all his problems in one. Accessing school and student records, he finds information on Randall Sterling, currently top school athlete and academic prospect. And gathering this information, he not only finds that Randall is a to school to school affairs, but he is also the only brother of Ronnie Sterling, the student that exposed him. Damn, damn, past me. We set this shit up, didn't we? Holy shit. Knowing he has the perfect target, he sets his plan in motion. Raines lies in waiting for his target as he leaves a movie theater with his friends, abducting him when he returns to his car and retrieves something he forgot. Taking Randall to a hidden facility not too far away from the campus, Rain performs his gene therapy experiment on him, but this time altering his calculations and formula slightly to be able to control his victim to do his bidding. The next day, during a campus-wide forum to meet the school board, he enacts his plan using Randall, now a raging behemoth of a creature, in his control to try and kill the members of the board, causing a public commotion and invoking chaos. Bob, labeled the brawler by the media, shows up to battle the new threat. Now calculating in his new hero. Oh, but let me reread that. Shows up in media. The media shows up to battle the new threat. Not calculating in this new hero, Reigns forces Randall to combat the brawler. A battle of epic proportion ensues. Near the end, when just about to administer the cure, as it is taking effect, it reveals Randall as a victim. Shocked at the fact that he is fighting one of his closest friends and teammates, he is stunned and cannot believe what has happened to his recently missing friend. In his weakened state, Randall can temporarily break Reigns' hold and cries out for help from Bob. Relaying that this monster is his brother, Ronnie pleads Bob to help his brother, but before the cure can take full effect, Reigns regains control over Randall's mind, cranking up the output of the chemicals in his body, overpowering the cure's effect, and returning him to the state of a mindless behemoth. However, the overload is too much on Randall's system, and he dies within moments, leaving a withered shell of his now reverted self in Bob's arms. Enraged with watching his close friend die in his arms, he chases after Reigns. Reigns retreats to his main lab with Bobby hot on his tail. Knowing he will have to fight for his life, Reigns decides to place himself in the process chamber to boost himself to face Bobby. Despite desperate, ups the dosage to the max and steps inside as Bobby tears down the door to the lab. However, the process backfires, and instead of boosting his system, it overloads it and completely disintegrates him, causing the lab to explode, leaving nothing but Bob in its wake. Stricken with grief, Bob makes a solemn vow to not allow this to happen to anyone ever again, understanding that he was given the gift to help others in the suffering by taking their burdens upon himself. To their fights, battles, and struggles as their champion, he soon calls himself the Michigan Statesman. Now, I'm going to end up having to process this and figure out how I can merge the other origin in with this and come out with the origin I have, but keeping this as a backdrop to the story. And I really want to do that. I really, 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 really want to do that. And like, I'm now super excited about this. And I'm going to have to brainstorm about it. But on top of that, I need to get myself something to eat. So, with that, we're going to leave this here. But we're going to leave a big to be continued. Because I want to go back through this and fix it and merge it with the SRA and the governor, or at least Richard Strider, who is forming the SRA at this point. And that could be them that showed up to try and assess the situation, and it fails miserably, but that's when he comes and talks to Bobby after this situation, and I want to do that. But I want to thank everybody who showed up. Why is it doing that? Yeah, we're going to do that. So, thanks everybody for showing up. I learned a lot of, even from my own self. And I'm gonna have to really dig into that and figure out how to merge that completely, so we can get a nice solid story for Michigan Statesman, and then I'll have one fully coherent origin story finally for Michigan Statesman, one that I can be happy with, because I like that storyline and how it starts. Instead of the other way of just him just somehow ending up being with the governor and being the lead guy or the head guy for the SRA in the field, basically their field commander. And now I have a way to link that, and that's really cool. So with that, thank you everybody for showing up, and I will see you guys next time. Probably Monday. We'll see.